Namaskar. Uh, Very good evening to one and all who is viewing this video. I'm Manigandan and I'm hailing from Kerala. I initially thank the management of St. Xavier's College, Mumbai for considering my profile for the post of Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology. To start with, let me introduce myself in a more briefer way. Uh, to start with my professional experience. Right now, I am associated with the All India Council for Technical Education in the Southwest Regional Office, Kerala, as an IT consultant, and I'm here since March 2019. The primary responsibility here is to process all the applications that are received by institutes on various categories, and also to take the in charge of all the IT related operations. And prior to that, I was working as a computer assistant in College of Engineering Trivandrum, which is a state government college. And the primary responsibility over here is to handle lab classes for the computer science and MCA students. And prior to that, I was in industry as a chief technology officer in one of the IT companies in Coimbatore, Ramp IT, from 2015 to 2017. The primary responsibility here is to deal with all the IT related operations and IT policy construction, and as well as to maintain the quality. And prior to that, I was with Karanya University, Coimbatore, as an assistant professor for 5 years from 2010 to 2015, where the responsibility is teaching, research, and administration. And as far as my educational qualifications are concerned, I'm awarded with Doctor of Philosophy from Anna University, Chennai in 2019. My primary area of research is data mining with optimization techniques. And I hold a Master of Computer Applications degree from Karunya University in the year 2010. And I'm a graduate in physics from Bardiyar University, Coimbatore. And as far as my schoolings are considered, my higher secondary was in Coimbatore in suburban matriculation, and my SSLC was in Chennai with St. Xavier's School. And to move on, so coming to my research credentials, and I have a book published in my name, and I have a couple of SEA indexed journals in my name, and the total number of Scopus publication I have is 3, and the total number of UGC publication is 1. And apart from that, I hold the responsibility of a reviewer of one of the Scopus indexed journal. And from my administration point of view, the work profile of mine includes administration in e-governance and general administration, and as well as with various policy and implementations. And have also worked as a project coordinator for many of the in-house projects of Karnia University and with Ramp IT. And I'm also done a decent work on the institution's accreditation towards various bodies like NAC, NBA, and for NIRF. Okay, coming back to this particular presentation, for the next 10 or odd minutes, we will focus on the following agenda. The first one is before going directly into the topic, which is going to be the Navy BS classification, first we need to understand some fundamentals of data mining and knowledge discovery. So the agenda will be like first we will have a very basic understanding of what is data mining and what is knowledge discovery, and second we will have a basic understanding of what a classification problem is, and third we will come into the exact topic, that is the Navy BS classification, with a simple and with a lucid and lustrous example. And finally we'll have the deeper explanation on the example, and the presentation ends with the discussions. So let us go into the topic first. So to start with, the fundamentals of data mining and knowledge discovery. See, we can get enormous number of definitions for data mining if you look at the internet, or you look at the surveys, or you look at the available literature. But to be very simple, the word data mining can be split into two. One is mining and another one is data. So why this word data mining is coming? That is the primary thing that we have to understand. And my dear friends, one of the important thing noted to be here is we should not utter the word datas, because I find lots and lots of people who are educated are using the word datas. There is no such word called datas in English, for your kind information. And if we are using the word datas, then we will not be fit to be called as computer literate. So data is the plural, and for that the singular is datum. So please avoid using the word datas. Okay, now coming back to data mining. So what is the process of mining? What do you mean by mining in general? Say for example, we have heard lots and lots of mining related things like coal mining, like diamond mining and gold mining. So obviously, as far as the gold mining and other minings are concerned, we are mining the sand initially, but the output is what we get is called gold. So, but because of this, we are not calling the process as sand mining, but we are calling the process as data mining. Sorry, the gold mining. Similarly, what we are going to mine is a raw data, and what we are going to get out is the processed data and the hidden information inside that. So the term data mining has been emerged. And one more thing is like this knowledge discovery. Data mining and knowledge discovery both are very synonymous. So as you can see, the word knowledge and discovery here. I would like to emphasize the word discovery over here. My dear friends, there is a beautiful difference between the word invention and discovery. So what is invention? For example, we can say that electricity is invented by Edison, whereas the gravity is discovered by Newton. So you could see the difference. Like what is the difference? What is the exact scenario where invention is used and where discovery is used? See, invention is used where a particular thing is identified which is not in existence. Please underline the word not in existence. Whereas discovery, it is bringing out something which is already there. The gravity is already there. So the Newton discovered gravity, whereas electricity was not there. That's why we are using the Edison invented electricity. And again, after getting this one, that word discovery, and what is called as knowledge, that also needs to be, it's a very basic understanding, but this is very important. Without understanding the basis, we cannot move out. So coming to this knowledge, let me give you this sample piece of text that you could see here. The raw data. So as we are in the COVID situation, I just thought to brief on, put an example related with COVID. See, a man born on 25th July 1998 traveled from America to India back 15 days, and the co-passenger was tested positive for COVID-19, and the man who traveled has no fever or cough, but also tested for positive. So after reading this particular text, what do you understand, or what do you infer, or what knowledge you have got from these three lines? So just think, like after reading the text, after understanding it, what is the exact knowledge that you have got? So some thought process should go inside your mind based on these three lines, isn't it? So for me, the thought process went something like this. and I got some knowledge through these three lines. So the knowledge gained here for me is COVID can be transmitted irrespective of age and symptoms. So as you could see, the raw data has only the date of birth, 25th July 1998, which means the guy is very young, and the knowledge here is shown, it's like irrespective of age and symptoms. The person didn't had cough, didn't had fever, and he is also very young, but he is tested positive for COVID. So the knowledge I got over here on these three lines is COVID can be transmitted irrespective of age and symptoms. And the second one is there is a high risk of COVID transmission if international travel and contact with other positive cases are there. Obviously, that was the scenario over there. The man traveled from America to India back 15 days, and also the co-passenger of him was tested positive. So which indirectly gives us a knowledge that people who have a foreign travel in the recent past and people who have contact with the persons who have tested positive are in a high risk of getting transmitted to COVID-19. So my point here is based on the three lines which was given as raw data, some thought process was going inside our mind and we could able to gain this knowledge. But this knowledge is not invented, my dear friends. This knowledge is already hidden in the piece of text that we have seen. So this process is called as knowledge discovery. Discovering something which is already there but hidden inside the raw data. So I think I should be, I have been clear in describing what knowledge discovery is all about. To continue with, okay, data mining, there are several techniques that are associated with data mining. To start with classification, then we have association, then we have prediction methodologies, and comes the clustering, sequential pattern mining, and decision trees. So these are all the fundamental things that we do in data mining. Okay. Okay, coming to the exact problem that we are going to discuss today. Is the classification problem. So instead of going or jumping directly into Navy BS classification that we are going to see in a few minutes, first we have to understand what a classification problem is. What is classification? So people often misinterpret the word classification along with clustering. At the example over here, clearly shows you what classification is and what clustering is. And what you are seeing here is a group of some organisms or group of some animals and birds, and whereas the classification is a process where, as you could see, it is like, please let me finish. Yeah, the classification is a area or a process in which the labels are predefined, or it is from which we will be knowing as what the output is already about. Whereas in clustering, it is the process of grouping similar objects, and classification is something like the outputs are already known. And in this particular example, as you could see from this small GIF that is presented, the classification, what it does, the classification problem, actually it is a pattern, it's one of the pattern identification technique used in data mining. And this second point is what I was trying to say. It has predefined classes in which objects are assigned. So in a classification problem, my dear friends, the classes are predefined and the labels are predefined. For example, in the last GIF that we saw, the classification can be like, is it a bird? I mean, the output will be obviously a binary value, yes or no, isn't it? So the output is already known, or we can classify as per the previous example, we can classify the birds as hen, duck and ostrich, and again here the outputs are already known. So there are, hope you can understand what primarily a classification problem is. And now to move on, there are different type of classification methods that are available in the data mining. For example, we have linear classification, we have SVMs, support vector machines, and we have decision trees, artificial neural network, kernel estimations, and lots of classification algorithms have come up in the the recent era. And now we are coming to our topic. The topic to be discussed for the topic which is chosen by me. Like it is Navi-Bayes classification. It's a kind of classification. So at this point of time, we should have already known what a classification is. And this Navi-Bayes classification is one of the type of classification which falls under linear classification problem. So Navi-Bayes is a probabilistic classification algorithm that can be used in a wide variety of classification tasks. So the word to be underlined or word to be remembered is it's a probabilistic classification. So which means that it is dependent on the concept of probability. And why we are using the word Navi here, Navi-Bayes classification? Because Navi here means the features or the labels are not dependent on each other, which means they are independent, and any change in any one of the feature will not have an impact on the other feature, and that's why it is called as Navi. And obviously Navi-Bayes, this bias comes from the Bayes theorem, and hence the nomenclature of Navi-Bayes have come. And before understanding the core concept of Navi-Bayes classification, we need to understand, or we need to get some input on what a conditional probability is. The prerequisite of knowing what Navi-Bayes is to know what conditional probability is. So let us see what conditional probability is all about, and then we will move into the Navi-Bayes classification. So the conditional probability of A given B, it denotes the probability of A occurring given that B has already occurred. So okay, I think that should be some sort of Greek and Latin to you. Let me explain this in a more clear way. So let us take an example of a scenario. Okay, consider that you have a deck of cards. The total number of cards that is available in a deck, it is 52. And consider the event of getting a queen from those 52 cards. And I am placing a condition over here that the queen should be in the flavor of spade. So the example here is, consider a deck of cards which has 52 cards, and the event here is getting a queen out of that 52, and the condition imposed here is that queen should be a spade. So here the probability of the event B has already occurred. The B here means the event of getting a spade. The condition is already imposed, which means that the event has already occurred. So this is the best example of how a conditional probability is taken for consideration, where we are going to find the probability of one of the event where a condition is imposed that the event B has already occurred. So the formula for calculating that is given by probability of A modulus B is equal to probability of A into probability of B divided by probability of B. So you can just work out and find out the possibility of getting a queen spade from the deck of card. So once we have got a clear-cut idea on what a conditional probability is, next we will move into the Navier-Bayes classification. So any classification algorithm or any algorithm or any topic, it is always better to keep an example. And I always go through with the what do you call the definition of education given by late Sir Einstein. He says that examples are not one of the way of teaching, whereas example is the only way of teaching. So my dear friends, whatever I speak or whatever I teach will start from an example, so that it will have a great impact and great understanding to you. Okay, let us start with a simple example for Navier-Bayes classification, which goes like, say you have 1,000 fruits. The total number of fruits is 1,000, which could be either banana, orange or other. So here we have only three classes possible. It can be either a banana or an orange, or it can be something else. So these are the three possible classes of the y variable. So we have data for the following x variable, all of which are binary 1 or 0. So here the x variables can take any one of these, like either the fruit can be long, or the fruit can be sweet, or it can be yellow. So the variable x has a binary values like long, sweet and yellow. So the first few of the rows of the data will be looking like, see, I have processed the data and we have the labels as fruit and whether it is long and sweet and yellow marked by x1, x2 and x3. Or say for example we have two fruits only, like orange, banana, and the third one is other. So we have the data like, if the fruit is orange, there are possibilities like it is not long, and whether it is sweet, yes, and whether it is yellow, no. And again for banana, whether it is long, yes, whether it is sweet, no. It can be either sweet or it cannot be sweet. And if it is banana yellow, and yes. And again third, a banana can be a long one, a sweeter one, and also in yellow color. And the fourth category is the other category, which neither falls in orange or in banana. So the other fruit can be long, the other fruit can be sweet, and it cannot be yellow. And similarly, there are multiple rows which are coming after this, and due to the I'm just cut shorting it to the this part alone. Okay. And for the sake of computing the probabilities, what we have done is we have inserted values, or we have aggregated the data as per this into the following table. For the sake of computing the probabilities, let's aggregate the training data to form a counts table like this. So what we have done is we have added, we have given some counts. So this is called as the training data, from where we have got this data, these values which are given by us, which are manually given by us. So these are called as training data. So as you could see from the table, we have columns like type, the fruits type, and whether it is long or not long, whether it is sweet or not sweet, whether it is yellow or not yellow, and the total. So the objective of the classifier is to predict if the given fruit is a banana or orange or other. That is the primary classification problem that we are going to focus. So we are going to find, given a fruit, what is the probability of that being a banana or being orange or being summer. So hope you have got a clear cut idea on what problem that we are going to face. So you please go back and think. The example is like there are 1,000 fruits, and among the 1,000 fruits we have bananas, we have oranges, and we have some other fruits also. So our intention is to find whether or the probability of a fruit being a banana or an orange or some other. So that forms the base of the Navier-Beer's classification. And to continue with, so these are all the following steps that we have to do on a Navier-Beer's classification. So the primary idea is to compute the three probabilities. What are the three probabilities? The probability of the fruit being a banana, the probability of a fruit being a orange, and the probability of the fruit being something else. So for that, and obviously whichever probability is more, that is the winner of the game. So the step one is compute the prior probabilities of each of the class of fruits. So here the class we have done for this case, let's compute from the training data. The training data is already available with us. So out of 1,000, the total number of fruits present is 1,000. So out of the 1,000 records in the training data, you have 500 bananas. So 500 bananas, how we have got? The bananas which are long are 400, and the bananas which are long are 400 and which are not long as 100, sweet as 350, not as not sweet as 150, yellow 450, not yellow 50, and then the total is here 500. The total number of bananas is 500. So probability of y being a banana is equal to 500 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 0.50. And similarly, probability of y being an orange is equal to 300 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 0.30, because the total number of orange is 300. And p of y is equal to other fruit is equal to 200 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 0.20, because there are 200 fruits which neither falls in banana nor in orange. And second one is step 2. Compute the probability of evidence that goes in the denominator. Initially we concentrate on the numerator, and second one is we are going to concentrate on the denominator. And initially we calculated the p of y, and now we are going to calculate the probability of x. So as already told, the x can take three values, namely long, sweet, and yellow. So the probability of x being long is equal to 500 divided by 1,000. How it came? 500 divided by 1,000. The total value of long. The total value of long is 500, and the total number of sample space is 1,000. So the probability is 500 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 0.50. And similarly, the probability of the x2 being sweet is 650 divided by 1,000. How we got 650? Sweet. The total is 650. So 650 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 0.65. And similarly, we have found out the probability of the fruit being yellow. And the step 3, compute the probability of likelihood of evidence that goes in the numerator. So here we are here only we are imposing, in the third step only we are imposing the condition. So here only we are going to concentrate on the conditional probability. So what the condition is? The probability of x1 being long, and the condition is imposed that it should be banana, and the probability of x2 is equal to sweet, and the condition is imposed like it should be banana again. So the point here is y is equal to banana, which means that this event has already occurred. So the condition is already imposed. So probability of x1 being long and y equal to banana will be 400 divided by 500. So why this 500 is coming here? This 500 comes here because the total number of bananas is 500. And long. The total number of fruits being long is 400, and hence the probability is 400 divided by 500, which is equal to 0.80. And similarly we are calculating it for the other labels like sweet and yellow. And finally the overall probability or the overall likelihood of a fruit from those 1000 taken being a banana is given by 0.8 into 0.7 into 0.9, which is summing up to 0.504. Okay, and this is the final step of the Navier-Beers classification. And in the final step, substitute all the three equations into the Navier-Beers formula to get the probability that it is a banana. So what we have to do, we have to just substitute all the values in this formula. This P of probability of banana being long, sweet and yellow, this is the Navier-Beers formula for you, my dears. So which is equal to probability of long and banana into probability of sweet and banana multiplied by probability of yellow and banana multiplied by the total probability of the item being a banana divided by probability of long into probability of sweet into probability of yellow. So which comes to 0, and as per the calculations, which comes to 0.8 into 0.7 into 0.9 into this probability of being a banana 0.5 divided by the probability of evidence, which is equal to 0.252 divided by probability of evidence. And obviously the probability of others will be 0, because P of long, because the denominator for this category will be 0, and the probability of others will be like 0.01875. So how this value has occurred, how these values have occurred, I'm just throwing the light to you to work on it and to identify as how it has come based on this formula. And the final answer is obviously the banana has the largest chance of the fruit which is randomly taken out from the 1000 fruits that is available. So since it has highest probability among the three classes, banana has the larger likelihood of being the fruit which is taken randomly from the basket of 1000 fruits. Okay, this seems to be very simple. It can be worked out using a pen and paper, and it can be done within minutes. But the current scenario or the